So this video is going to be a little different. Most of my videos have something to do with the Bible. Not that I don't want to have anything to do with the Bible, but in this particular video, I don't really know how to fit it in. This one's really going to be sciencey. I want to start with a story. So for a little bit of backstory, I had a coworker that I befriended and made a point to invite him to my family's house for Christmas because it was very clear that he was hurting and kind of alone, going through a rough patch in life, without giving too many details. I was trying to push him into church, right? And I could tell he needed to go to church and he loved to talk. My husband loves to talk. So I was like, this is going to be perfect. And he almost immediately became just kind of part of the family. My sister actually ended up being the one to take him to a church because she lives closer than I do. One of those Christian moments of just trying to get another person in church, right? And I'll be the first to say I'm not really into religion. It needs to be the right kind of church. So with that backstory, every now and then we will invite him over here. He came over here and got talking mostly with my husband, a smidge with me, and the conversation lasted so long that my husband was like, if you want, you can go to the store with us because this is when we normally go shopping and you could just talk to us while shopping. He says, sure. So we are going through the store, talking about different things, and of course, my husband has to bring up that I'm a flat earther, right? And I was like, did you have to? And it's not that I'm ashamed of it, but most people just think it's hilarious, right? And at first he was kind of like, you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm a flat earther. Going back and forth. And it was a 2v1, okay? My husband was very much, no, it's a globe. Whereas he was more like, well, if you look at this science, if you look at this perspective. And so either way, it was a 2v1. We were coming towards the cleaning supplies. I remember this clearly. I just randomly out of nowhere went, it hurts when sunlight reflects into your eyes, right? Like on a mirror, side view mirror of your car. It hurts when sunlight reflects off of anything, and it can sometimes just be a speck of sand. Yes, that was the answer I got from both of them. Yes. And that's when I said, unless it's the moon. I'm telling you right now, my husband kind of went, kind of like, you just don't understand, even not that he understood it. And our friend was like, that's actually a good point. That is a good question. Like, started stammering. And I was like, yes, I'm getting somewhere. I did not, by the way, just gonna go ahead and not lead y'all on. Yeah, I didn't convert him to a flat earther. But the answer I basically got from my husband was, well, the moon is different. The moon dust is different. And I just kind of looked at our friend like, it's just different? That's all? It's just different? That got us in a similar direction. And basically it's like, it's the way it like diffuses the light. And I'm like, well, technically sand does too, but it will still, some part of it is going to ouch your eyeball. That was kind of where we left off of that one. We get into one of the food aisles. I don't remember exactly which food aisle. They start looking the same. So this is later. My husband basically says, well, gyroscopes prove we're on a globe. And I was like, okay, how? And then I keep getting I shouldn't have to explain everything to you. I'm like, but if you're going to use it as your proof, you got to explain to me how it is proving it for you. If you are confident enough to tell me, well, this proves it, explain how it proves it. There are a few exceptions. I could say gravity would probably be one of them because, not being funny, most people can't really explain what gravity is. They just say it's what makes us stick to the ground. But you just pull up some random scientific device and go, yeah, see? Oh, well, I don't even know what this is. Okay, when he first said it, I didn't even know what it was. So I'm like, you got to explain this a little bit. You can't just go, see, and not tell me what this is. He basically said that it's something that measures motion, and he kind of explained how it works, that, it can measure the movement of different things. So if you put it on something, it can measure the motion of that thing. And so then I was like, so not to be a smart aleck or even really try and counter you, but have a genuine question. But how do we make it zero? Like, in order for a gyroscope to measure that the Earth that it's on is moving, how do we make that zero? And before you say just get it in the air, The reason helicopters hover in the same place, we're told, is because it's all moving with the same earth, kind of like how if I toss a ball in a train. So it can't be that. You would then have to get out into space, and you would still be drifting, and then it would be floating. You have a heartbeat if you're holding it. Like, literally, snipers will talk about, how they breathe and stuff. I don't want my video to get censored saying the wrong word about, certain pew-pews, but there is some science behind that. So how do we make that 0 to then measure the earth? I said it honestly, and I'm not accusing, but it seems like you would have to set that to the earth's motion to then know what is different motion. Like, okay, when a police car is putting out their little ray to see someone's speed, technically the police car is moving with the earth, but because the other car is moving, I don't want to say independently, but technically independently of the earth as well, it's measuring that and saying, oh, this is how much it's traveling. But how could the police car measure the earth unless it can be made to be 0? That was the question. To which my husband finally said, I'm going to have to look into that. And a friend was like, you've really had some good questions. Not going to lie. Not saying I'm a flat earther, but you got some good questions. That is the background to how this video is getting started. Gyroscopes. First of all, they're extremely interesting to me, and I've been looking them up and getting different things off of Google, and I'm just mind blown at the technology of it. But I still have not gotten a satisfactory answer as to it being 0. In fact, the best that I can find is basically the manual ones will tilt when the earth is rotating. However, I saw a video, don't know where to find it. It was months ago, back when we had that conversation. He was pulling up videos, and I don't know if you ever sent it to me, where someone basically showed that their little gyroscope moved with the earth, and I'll use my bright shiny pen. It was like this to start with, and yes, I understand there's like other circles, but like orientation wise here, and it went like, I think that far. I don't think it went past here. And I want to say that video was supposed to be a span of 8 hours. If the earth is rotating 24 hours, a genuine question, because I'm not understanding all of Google's answers. This is genuinely, I don't even understand. So if there's a glober on here, this is not meant to be the I gotcha. This is the I don't even understand what's happening. If the earth is rotating 360 degrees every 24 hours, then wouldn't the little gyroscope thingy do a 360 in 24 hours? And if that's the case, wouldn't it need to have done a third? We've all had to do that in school, where you take the circle and you like split it into 3. Kind of looks like a peace sign. I don't know if that's exact thirds, but that kind of thing. Wouldn't it have had to basically be pointing down, for lack of a better word, at least? Like, people was talking about they set up these things like all night, and I'm like, okay, you're going past your stand. Would it hit the stand? Is it able to go past the stand? Like, genuine questions. I'm not saying this proves flat earth. I don't understand what is happening with these, but it did get me somewhere in the conversation. I am still working on that. From the flat earth perspective, I have a question. If the stars are doing this over our heads, is it possible that all of the heavens, including technically the air beneath this firmament, is also moving in a circle? Like, is it possible that it's making just enough to move this gyroscope? Also, if it's measuring any motion, how do you know wind isn't messing you up? You're not in a vacuum. How do you know that anything else isn't messing it up? When people set it up in their homes, because I think that video was set up on like a little office table or something. Okay, what about the person's footsteps? Footsteps in the other room. I mean, apparently these things are pretty sensitive. How are you actually getting a controlled result, I should say? That's kind of it. That's going to be it for this video. I just had some questions about gyroscopes. Hopefully people can answer them. Please feel free to leave a comment with anything that you know, and thank you for staying tuned for this one. Please stay tuned for the next one. I'm going to try and roll out some more longer ones, but for now, it might sadly be shorter ones.